What is the creepiest real-life story you know that still sends chills down your spine? I don't remember the name of the lake, but it was slowly filling up with CO2 over decades. And one day, an earthquake happened, shifting the water just enough to undissolve all the CO2, and it slowly crept down the mountain, into the village, creating a wave of invisible, undetectable death. Everyone in the village, animals, humans, birds, died where they stood, without even knowing why. The story of the divers who got sucked into the pipe and lived for 4 days in complete darkness and were unable to move. No one attempted a rescue. I believe it was in Russia. Mr. Balin did a video on it. The case of septic tank Sam. In 1975, an Alberta couple wanted a pump for their septic tank, and they decided to take the pump from the tank in their old abandoned farm instead of buying a new one. In doing so, they discovered a dead body that was thrown there. The victim's story is very horrific. He was tortured and sexually mutilated before he was shot, then thrown in the septic tank of an abandoned farm, hoping that the crime would never be discovered. The victim was identified in 2021, but the murder is yet to be solved. Edit. It was in 1977. The guy who was asking Reddit for advice about his wife's affair, then she went batshit crazy after he wanted to divorce her and killed his kids. Fuck, that was so chilling to hear about. A guy the first went to HS with bragged about making his 11-year-old sister and 10-year-old brother have sex under threat of violence. He was later found guilty of having sex with a 15-year-old freshman basketball player when he was their HS coach at 22. I've worked in CPS. There are people living among us who have no empathy, no human connection. They're empty vessels that look like humans but have no real soul. And their deepest desire is to hurt, torture and destroy children. They're highly intelligent and are always just biding their time until they think they can strike without being detected. Writing this as I'm looking at the family tree of a girl whose father was her own grandfather. My aunt woke up in the middle of the night and noticed the red LED light on her TV was off. She rolled over in bed and saw the light turn back on. When she woke up the next morning, her TV was gone along with a ton of other stuff. The Valley of Headless Men in Nahana Valley, Canada. A remote wilderness area famous for a series of unexplained disappearances and headless corpses found between 1905 and the mid-20th century. Local natives in that area would tell hunters and gold diggers not to go to that part of the valley as everyone who does never makes it back. A friend of mine in high school was murdered by someone with their car. He was walking home wasted after a party. The autopsy showed injuries that were consistent with the car slowly crushing him, like they were driving under 10 miles per hour. The autopsy also showed he was run over twice, just as slowly. It didn't kill him instantly. He crawled to the side of the road and probably lived for hours in excruciating pain. Not only did they never find out who did it, they never had a single suspect. It happened deep in his neighborhood, so it's not likely that it was some stranger from the highway. So whoever did it could be a neighbor that's still living there. The death of Hisashi Ouchi. He was working at a nuclear plant and due to shoddy working conditions was involved in a criticality incident. He was hit with, I believe, the most radiation any human has ever been hit with without instantly dying. For 81 days a cabal of the best doctors in the world tried to keep him alive as his body shut down. The descriptions of what he was going through and what was physically happening to him make it clear to me that sometimes saving a life isn't worth it. It's a tragic story of a young man suffering one of the worst fates possible. My mother's college roommate was a sleepwalker. One night a friend coming home late from a date found her roaming the halls of their dorm and carefully got her back up their room. As they got her back to bed, they saw the soles of her feet were filthy, as if she'd been walking outside barefoot for hours. Still freaks me out thinking what could have happened to her. The case of Lacey Fletcher. Her parents, 66 years old, found their 36-year-old daughter dead on the couch. Lacey had severe agoraphobia and couldn't leave her couch for 12 years, so since she was 24. Her parents neglected her severely, didn't take care of her, and didn't get her help. When she was found, she had melted into the couch and her skin had atrophied to the couch leather, while she was alive. She was covered in excrement and insects were eating away at her body, also while she was alive. Lacey tried to save herself by eating her own excrement and the couch foam, but she was unable to get up from the couch for 12 years and her parents refused to take care of her, which eventually led to her death. So Lacey Fletcher died from severe neglect from her own parents. The toolbox killers. It's what people are capable of that's the most terrifying. I have no desire to listen to the audio, they use it to desensitize FBI agents IIRC. But I've heard something similar that I know was fake on Dexter and it sends chills up your spine even though it's fake. I can't imagine what it must have been like for that poor woman. That conditions in the WTC towers above where the planes crashed on 9/11 were so hellish that people, who were trapped because, At least in the North Tower the plane severed the 3 stairwells. Decided jumping 100 or so floors was preferable. Edit. I was not expecting so many upvotes and replies. This was just my personal answer to the original question. Just thinking of the hellish conditions faced by those trapped on the upper floors still sends chills down my spine, 24 years later. And I remember seeing the smoke from my bedroom window that afternoon. Everything regarding Unit 731. Horrors beyond human comprehension committed by humans.